Okay, that's good.
All right, Scott, you can take over.
Okay, Kayla, remember to set it so that my words do not change the picture
Yes.
on the screen, so that we see Mike
Mhm.
all the way through.
Yes,
Good.
Okay.
I have Mike pinned, so it's okay.
Okay, great, great. Okay, good. Well, Mike, you saw my email, so why don't we? Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. When we're doing this social media recording, I'm supposed to start by asking you to tell us about yourself, where you work, uh, how you came to this position, anything interesting that you'd like people to know about yourself. That might be what they choose to use on the social media. So, if you don't mind going ahead with that first.
Sure, I'd love to. I started my career about almost 40 years ago, and I started in internal audit as a systems auditor. Half my life has been audit. I went from IT audit director to VP of risk management, and eventually I became a partner at Arthur Andersen. And I started Andersen in 91. I made partner in 4 years, which is amazing. And I'm very proud of that. But of course, Andersen's gone. But then went to Wells Fargo as also a VP of risk management. I've been in information security half my career. The other half, I've been CISO in several places. Newegg, I was there for 5 years. At Security Pacific back in the days, I was also mainframe security, a VP of mainframe security. What I'm doing now, recently, I just finished 16 years of being a PCI QSA, a qualified security assessor. I also was a PA QSA, which basically tested vendor products and tried to penetrate them and make sure they were in line with the PCI standards before they were authorized to sell them in the marketplace. So did a lot of technical areas there. And then now what I'm doing now is I'm a CISO at Newegg, not Newegg, TriStar Insurance Group, and I've been there now 7 years. Been very fortunate with the tone at the top, and the support I get from executive management, and what I'm able to accomplish with the IT and dev group. And that's what I'd like to talk about, the David and Goliath concept, because I've been around long enough that many times we're lucky enough to have 5 minutes before the board to say how we're doing, where in fact with TriStar, we meet every 2 weeks. The executive team, VP, HR, you name it, and we talk. I facilitate the agenda, and we talk about several topics: compliance, vendor risk, BCP, privacy. I mean, the list goes on. So I'm very blessed to be there, and I'm very happy to share some of the successes I've had.
Yeah, tell us more about that right here on this recording. So this is unusual, as you
Yes,
know, right?
yes.
So does that come from the very top? This is a publicly traded company, right? Is it sort of
No,
board driven? No, it's private.
it's private. Yeah,
Okay, fine. So is
yeah.
it from the very top? Is it board driven? Is it something that you made happen, even though there was resistance and people say, well, we don't care about this security stuff? Tell us how it
Okay,
happened.
well, okay, to be real, there has been resistance from the start. It has dissipated, but over time, but we don't automatically get it. We have to earn it. And I think I believe that the reason for it has been because of the CEO. He has a past audit experience, and with my audit background and being a partner, he we hit it off, and we were able to come to an agreement that look, the best, let's do the best thing for TriStar. And he supports all of our efforts. We may not get all the funding we need, or we may not get all the scheduling or support from IT, because as we all know in the real world, they have an agenda also. They need to meet their deadline. They need to come in budget. They need to satisfy the requirements that are imposed on them for SLAs, system-wise, and for the applications that they develop or deploy. By the same token, they can't do it in absence of security or privacy. And so we've now embedded, and it took a while, we've embedded ourselves into the SDLC process. We've embedded ourselves into the change control process. And I manage the information security group, reports directly to the CEO. That way it gives me the liberty to be independent and provide input and not be afraid that I'm going to get in trouble with the CIO. Whereas we have a separate SecOps group that reports to the CIO and to IT. They're the ones that deploy, that provision, that do the administration of security. And so together, I drive the charter, I drive the policies, I drive the direction we're going, and they drive the actual deployment. But I think there's a great synergy that's developed over the years, because at first it was a little, locking horns, as you know, because everybody goes through it. But I think they've been able to see, look, I have no other agenda other than do what's right for TriStar. I mean, if you don't want to do what I suggest, then I need to make sure that security understands what business risks they're accepting. But every 2 weeks, the agenda talks about the different areas of interest to them, from compliance, from security, from disaster recovery, for everything that's on the agenda. But at the end, I always try to give them a tidbit of knowledge. They now understand things like principle of least privilege, defense in depth. They understand, this cybersecurity jargon. They may not fully understand, but they get the concept. So I try to give them a little bit of time so they can become conversant. So when I talk about a vulnerability scan with CVSS scores, they may not fully understand, but they know that there's a rating of vulnerabilities, and our approach is not just CVSS, anything that's 7 and above. They understand that we need to look at the criticality of the application, of the system. Is it a business critical application? And how easy and difficult will it be to deploy the remediation if it need be? And how do we prioritize it? So it's kind of exciting. It's always a challenge, though, because we're on the deadlines. But I have to say that I'm blessed, because I've never had it before.
That is so good. That is so good.
Yeah, right.
Now we're going to see what kind of an actor you are out there in Hollywood.
Okay.
Can you do the same presentation when we're on stage and not make reference even to the fact that I've heard it all before? Because that was so good, Mike. That was so good.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Well,
that's what we'll do.
it's easy because I live it every day, so it's fine.
I know you're living and breathing it. So
That's
when
right.
you say they understand, are you talking about CEO and board, or are you talking about business unit managers? Who's in these meetings? Who you're talking to?
That's a great question. The security committee is comprised of the CEO, the CFO, the EVPs. Not all of them, but the EVPs that have more skin in the game, in the operations of the company. We also have HR, the VP of HR, the PO, the Chief Privacy Officer, and then we have IT. We have the CIO, his VP of Infrastructure, his VP of Development, and then we have the SecOps manager. We used to have a larger group, but it got too unwieldy. So let's have a smaller group so people can make decisions on what we are trying to accomplish. Right. Deviations or non-compliance to policies, procedures, or things that we can't fulfill because of whatever time constraints we have or whatever it is, we bring to the security committee so they can make a decision. So we need the right people there, and I'm very glad that they're able to attend.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. You're developing? You mentioned SecOps. You didn't say DevSecOps, but it sounds like there's development going on there.
Yes, there is. There is no DevSecOps per se. There is a development group that develops applications. We're developing a new AI system that will not make decisions on whether claims are going to be processed or accepted, but more information gathering so that it can be turned over to an examiner, a claims examiner or an adjuster, and they can decide whether they to pay the claim or not. Just some background. TriStar, let me close my door because my wife's talking too loud. Okay,
no, I can't hear a thing. Can't hear a thing.
Okay.
Don't worry about
it. Let me keep going then.
Yeah.
The TriStar Insurance Group is a TPA. It's a third-party administrator, and what they do is they process medical claims for typically self-insureds. Now, if you're self-insured, you're a very large company because you can, pay your insurance services. However, they don't process the claims. They charter or hire a TPA to do that for them. We also do workman's comp claims. So when we look at that client base, we are literally all over the map. We're the largest privately owned TPA in the country. So we're literally in every state. And so that's what we do. And so what we want is people who can make decisions on the type of controls and type of software and deployment and that needs to take place. So when our dev group develops an application, an AI application to gather information for our claims adjusters or claims processors or examiners, the AI is not to a level where they can make cognitive decisions on whether something can get paid or not. But they're very good. Can't get delegate. You still need the human factor. However, it's awesome as far as data gathering, information gathering. So AI to us has been a wonderful productivity tool. It's able to facilitate and allow us to rapidly process those claims on behalf of our clients.
That's great. That's great. Okay, good. We're there on that topic. Thank you for that. Now, what other topics did you write down after you saw my email?
I didn't write them down, but there's a lot of things that I think is I've been, I believe, successful in over the years, and one of which I'm working on also here at TriStar, and that is vulnerability management.
Vulnerability management.
Yeah, vulnerability management. So we run these vulnerability scans, external, internal scans. We run pen tests, internal, external pen tests, web application pen tests, segmentation pen tests, Wi-Fi pen tests. We have all these vulnerabilities that crop up, and there's so many in volume. The question is, how do we deal with them? Fortunately, the SIM and we have an MSSP that allows us to monitor that type of activity. Does allow us to rank those vulnerabilities. And so what we identified is let's work on not just those that have high CVSS scores, like 9.8 for a website. That website may be informational only, so that's not as critical as, say, a legacy application or server that has a 7.0 CVSS, but yet it has mission critical applications. Let's identify that and fix that one first. And so I guess what I'd like to talk about is share how we're addressing what do we remediate? How do we schedule the remediations? How do we identify what's truly a risk or what's a false positive? And how do we schedule our resources correctly? Because the volume is just too big for us to tackle all of them.
I love this. I'll definitely ask you about that too.
Okay.
All right, that's great. Is there another one that you want?
The other one that's front of mind is privacy. Integrating privacy into the dev process and also in our business units. We live in California, so CCPA, CPRA is important for us. But because we are who we are, TriStar basically has a presence in literally all of 50 states. So we need to understand what those state privacy laws are.
Not outside the U.S., strictly U.S. Is that right?
It's strictly U.S. No foreign, no foreign access. If we have like the state of Illinois or state of California as a client, if they want us to work for them, they strictly say in the contract, no foreign access. So it's all internal. It's all U.S. based. So and that's important because and also where does the data reside?
How much cloud? How much on-prem?
It has to be in the U.S. We have 2 data centers, co-locations, one in Irvine, California, here in locally, and one in Plano, Texas. So, and we decided to go the co-location route as opposed to
Yeah.
the cloud, because we're mainly a legacy environment.
All
And
right.
we used to have our own data centers, but we found that a co-location is much more economical. And
Yeah.
let them worry about the environmental controls. Let's just worry about keeping our systems up.
Yeah. So you're doing co-location, but you're not in the world of Azure or Google or
Well,
AWS.
yeah, MS365 and Teams folders, yeah, they're there, but that's not where our production data is. No.
Right. Got it. Okay, good. I would ask you for other topics, but I know we would not have time to get to them. I think we're good with what we got here.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. And I'll chime in if there's other questions that come up with the other
Oh my
panelists.
God.
But yeah.
I hope none of them show up. I've got enough with just you up there.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. This was great. You can take the rest of the day off. Have a great weekend.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Appreciate that's what we're thinking in New York at 4:52 on a Friday afternoon.
Is that where you are in New York?
Yeah, I'm one block from the Empire State Buildings, right over there.
Wow. Okay.
Where are you, Irvine?
I'm actually in Seal Beach, which is just south of Long Beach.
Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah, that's great.
Beautiful
All right,
town.
Mike, I'll see you on Thursday. Thank you very much.
Scott,
Bit of a
pleasure to
long
meet you.
drive up to Fogo de Chao, and you're halfway to, you're 2/3 of the way to Burbank. But hey, we'll see you there.
Yeah, we'll see you there. Take care. Thank you. Kayla, anything else for me?
No, this is everything. Just expect an email from my colleague Raina in regards to the Uber voucher, and she'll just also send you information about the gift and everything.
Okay.
But yeah, we're all set and ready for Thursday.
So, Kayla, afternoon panel for Mike, David, and Goliath.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay.
All right.
Take care, Mike. Thanks, Kayla.
Have
Bye-bye.
a nice weekend. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.